I actually think the education systems, next to the government, the biggest obstacle to our progress. It has destroyed generations.
Sure.
Since 1994. So since 1994, fun fact, the United Nations has been in there affecting our curriculum. And because of that, what we see is a generation of unemployables. So when people leave school and they become successful, it's not because of school, it's in spite of school.
Geez, you're also anti-school.
Absolutely.
What would your vision be for schooling for this country?
Oh, so much. Get kids out of classrooms. Take children from, and this is me speaking, this is not OM. As far as organic humanity movement goes, we haven't got policies.
Yeah.
We have principles and we have values, and we will shape solutions that are based on those principles and values.
Okay.
So when it comes to schooling, mainly speaking my opinion when it comes to the details, but I believe that primary school, kids should be outside. Kids should be learning instruments. Kids should be doing art. Kids should be doing theater and dance. And I say this because we have a very traumatized population.
That is true.
Kids are growing up seeing their parents drunk and fighting. They're seeing atrocious things taking place. Things kids should never have the burden of witnessing and being part of and being abused as well. And what has been taught out there about trauma is that in order to heal and overcome trauma, you need to move your body, you need to explore, you need to have fun. And when a child comes into a classroom and they've just been screamed at by their crazy parents and they've just witnessed their dad hit their mom, and now the teacher wants to tell them that 4 + 4 = 8, nothing's going to go in at all. So you need to open them up first and get them physiologically and within their nervous systems ready to learn. And that's not happening. And this is why we have the crisis we have in our schooling system, the failure rate. And kids can't read anymore and they're stuck on their phones. And what we need to do is just make sure kids in the junior school levels are healthy human beings, emotionally and mentally. We don't have to fill their brains. They don't have to read so young. They don't have to have this pressure to perform. They need to do the creative things. And when you foster creativity, that's when you'll actually find scientific and technological advancements taking place for the first time ever. Because even the most profound scientific discoveries, I believe, started with a creative inquisitivity first, a curiosity, a creativity. And that is something that's killed at school level. So what I want to see in the country is complete flexibility in the school system. And then when kids get to 12, 13, 14, then we can start with the more serious subjects and try find what is their passion, what is their heart purpose, and help develop and direct them into that.
So they must go play for 12 years.
Play for, Well, remember they start school at what, 5, 6, 7? Yeah. The president wants to make it compulsory, but we don't believe that. I mean, kids...
Is that the billable?
Part of the billable. Yeah.
I get a lot of DMs about people wanting me to go in on that because I've made videos about homeschooling in the past. I experimented with my kids.
You know what? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an OM resistance nut myself.
A rebellious spirit. So I love to hear that you homeschool. I homeschool, or you tried experimenting with homeschooling. I homeschool my 4 children. It's a journey.
You homeschooled or you homeschool?
Homeschool them.
Currently. That's dope.
That's
a conversation on its own.
It's a conversation on its own. And I think if we start to see flexibility in the school system, society will start to progress. So what we have is people exit the school system. If you're privileged, you'll go to university. If you're lucky, the government will give you a bursary and you'll go to university. But you're not actually equipped to deal with everything that happens at university. I didn't go to university, and quite frankly, I'm grateful I didn't, because I did not have the maturity at that stage to have acted responsibly
on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do think it's so important that we equip our children. 3 things. There's 3 things that school needs to do. Minimum. That is increase a child's IQ, increase a child's EQ, and let them leave the schooling environment with a tangible, marketable skill at the very least.
I hope I'll remember these points. Amish, Elon Musk. What were my other points? Okay, homeschooling we touched on. Doesn't matter. Oh, Sir Ken Robinson, one of my favorites.
Love him.
So when you mentioned Handmaid's Tale, I just thought of a reference when we spoke about schooling of communities deciding, no, we're going to go Amish with how we raise our kids and not do this traditional school thing. The next reference was Elon Musk. I think he's got, no, not that he's got quite a couple of children, but I think for his 5 boys at the time, what made him start Ad Astra, not sure what it's called now, also a form of homeschooling, but it was the kids at his office with scientists that were kind of guiding them, learning how to use tools. It was also that whole story of school is not equipping children with the ability to solve problems and teaching them how to use tools
not at all.
For problem solving.
Children are taught by teachers, not experts.
Please explain or elaborate on what you're saying.
So if I want my child to learn human biology, I want them to talk to a doctor. I want them to talk to a brain surgeon.
Sure.
I want them to talk to a physiotherapist.
I'm going to say something inappropriate. My mom's been in teaching her whole life, and my brother was a school teacher. You want your child to be taught by someone who's in an industry, hopefully passionate about an industry, an ability to convey the skills or the information, and not someone who didn't do well at school and teaching became a fallback because that's all they could kind of get into, which is what we have now. The smartest kids in class that we were with are not school teachers.
They're not.
And then we're going to act surprised as to why our quality of teachers is the way it is.
Exactly.
When those who are brilliant in class are not the people teaching our schools, are teaching our children.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Elon Musk. So Ken Robinson, I've told the story before. I'm not going to tell it again. People can go and find it somewhere. One of my favorite TED Talks is where he speaks about schooling. I think he's from the UK somewhere, England or something. And I wanted to make the reference of what you were saying, that it's so sad how preschool, grade R, creche, grade 1, we would start off class. I don't know if it's still the same much today. We would start off class with singing in the morning. Then we'd paint and draw and, work with Play-Doh and those things. And it's like, as you get older, all of that stuff gets conditioned out of you. And it's kind of weird when you find kids in high school, tertiary, it's like, you draw. Oh my gosh, you sing, as if we're not all meant to be singing. Because at some point in our schooling, no matter how bad you were, we all sang, we all danced, we all drew pictures. And then we were conditioned out of it. And some of us could have been good at it, but we were taken out. So Ken Robinson speaks about holistic learning, where he says when we're young, we use the whole body. Mm-hmm. And as you get older, it moves up and then it moves to your brain and into one side of the brain, which is the focus on STEM. And then we kind of lose all this other stuff. And we are a creative nation. I mean, if you look at our TikTok videos, if you look at some of our celebrities in music, in acting, in the visual arts, it's like these people should not be the exceptions, because clearly we are a creative country. Why are we not stimulating that more and having all kids, even if you're not that talented, go play a sport, go get involved in art, and because you never know. You can, when you zone in high school, when you zone in on maths or science because you're passionate and you love it and you want to be an engineer, but you're like, but I also play football. I also play the violin because we just believe in holistic learning.
I love that, because we're not meant to be just one thing.
Correct.
We are complex human beings.
Yeah.
With many interests. So we're not here to come and change the system and this is how the system needs to be forever and eternity.
Dope.
We believe that the next generation needs to take upon themselves the responsibility to progress it even further and further and further. This is ever changing democracy.
That's beautiful.
That's what democracy should be. It should change as people progress, and that has not happened in 30 years.